It's fine to say we are not all like this. It's fine to say I would rather see us elevate beyond this. But to deny it is what started to annoy me.
And I'm gonna tell you something. It made me feel some kind of way about you. That's the real problem.
But I didn't know it was gonna turn into all this. Oh,
well, I didn't know it was gonna turn into.
There is always something that we can be learning, growing, perfecting, shaping, molding, right? The minute we stop evolving, we're dead.
But I don't think anyone is surprised anymore. The way things are going. Rumor has it that Miss Mona Scott Young ended the show herself, and not just for the drama. She claimed the couple wasn't together, which is why the internet was ablaze with speculation about this sudden fall from reality TV grace. When Kirk and Rasheeda cheated once more, Ms. Bosch was permanently fired. Meeting contractual obligations, and to exacerbate the situation, the fans weren't as attentive as they once were, as if they hadn't had 10 years of antics on VH1. Kirk and Rasheeda are now out there accusing everyone but themselves. But let's get to the real reason why this iconic pair was cut off. Everyone, buckle up, this is going to get messy. With Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, Kirk and Rasheeda have been riding along, open marriage rumors, cheating scandals, Rasheeda flipping wigs while staying booked and busy with Press Boutique, and more have all surfaced since the beginning. However, they were more than just cast members. They were the show's faces, and while fans either applauded or mocked them, Mona Scott was apparently over it backstage. According to insiders, Mona and Frost first fell in love. Increased tension in the last few seasons. Rasheeda, who reportedly became more challenging to work with after fans yelled "Bow's chick" at her for maintaining her composure in the face of Kirk's chaos, was out here trying to edit scripts, insisting on final sales for scenes, and refusing to film anything that would damage her reputation. Now, what brand is it? The cheating wife businesswoman, sis?
What was the text messages?
The only reason they're gone because we were arguing about some that don't even matter, and you know me. I'm energy only. Her energy is negative. I don't.
Kirk wasn't helpful at all, and she even left the meeting after saying she didn't need the show anymore, according to sources. He was accused of being disrespectful to the crew, arriving late, and ignoring calls. Rumors of dubious brand deals and unpaid fees, like that you're battling the same people who provided you with a platform, should not be overlooked though. For years, Mona allowed what began as a power couple to continue as a production nightmare because she hears where everything went wrong. On what should have been a routine day of filming, the producers had everything ready for a casual scene. About Kirk's most recent business endeavor, nothing to impress, but as soon as Rasheeda entered the room, the drama began. She was upset when she arrived and was already arguing with the producers about how to set up the scene, according to sources. Sis grew weary of their toxic love story, even though they knew the audience was addicted to it. When the bomb dropped, it was only a matter of time until the customers wore it.
It can make me super angry at times and shut down, or it can make me snap out and, I'm here.
She allegedly yelled uncontrollably during a full-on show match, dragging producers, accusing them of undermining her, and threatening to leave in the middle of the scene. When he thought it couldn't get any messier, Kirk jumped in and discussed how things got so out of control that security had to be called in to keep things under control, since time is money in the entertainment industry. Mona was already annoyed by Kirk and Rasheeda's whining and brand new acting on set, but then she got her hands on something that made a huge difference. Insiders started to speculate that Kirk and Rasheeda had been secretly providing bloggers with information leaks, so he naturally took Rasheeda's side, accusing the entire crew of being phony and even contacting network executives behind his back. To put an end to the whole situation, take a moment to think. These two allegedly engaged in private talks with another network regarding pitching a brand new reality show about their business, family, and real-life drama without Mona, VH1, Love, or Hip Hop, in addition to disparaging the show's editing crew online. Furthermore, the show concept they were pushing bore a striking resemblance to the very plots they devised with Mona over the years, juggling marriage and finances, parenting, family problems, the business grind, and so forth. In addition to trying to rush around and sell the leftovers at their own table, they were also biting the hand that fed them. But after Kirk and Rasheeda were dropped like bad Wi-Fi, things took a turn for the worse. For Mona, this was more than just ambition. It was a declaration of war. And these people were no longer merely cast members. They were traitors who were competing against her using the very platform she provided. Mona joined an inner circle and started to let the shade fly, according to insiders, after she casually implied that some cast members had been playing both sides. This sent the whole love and hip-hop world into a tailspin for years. Let's face it, on set, people started to side-eye one another, and all loyalty was gone. Those who had been problematic behind the scenes were reportedly told by Mona that she was monitoring them and that those individuals were now having their contracts reviewed and their scripts revised. They left with no usable footage after all that drama, so she decided to call a private meeting with her legal team and showrunners within a day. Let's say Mona brought the missed calls, text messages, receipts, and broken clauses all neatly organized. Brutal language was used in internal memos sent to the production leads and VH1 executives. Kirk and Rasheeda were described as disruptive, non-opportunistic, and a total liability in the memos. Insubordination, the notorious corporate term, was used at that point as if it were a pattern of disrespect and costly setbacks rather than a single bad day. Upon reaching her breaking point, Mona gave her approval. Terminate their contracts right away in order to avoid more chances. They simply poof went and listened. They didn't even receive a proper farewell. There was no final meeting or lavish reunion. Though Rasheeda allegedly pretended that she was doing a show a favor by wanting all the camera time without the mess, insiders have been accusing Kay and Rasheeda of playing dirty behind the scenes for years. Rasheeda allegedly forgot that this is reality TV and not an infomercial for Preste TL. Kay and Rasheeda had a habit of acting superior to everyone else, as though their drama was more authentic than the others in the cast. Wasn't any better with guests arriving late and questionable transactions outside of the show's contract. He treated the production as if they owed him a favor, saying, "I'm the star, not the liability." And now that they've been fired, they're out there blaming everyone but themselves rather than taking responsibility. They're stating things such as, "You had the audience, the storyline, and the opportunity, but you wanted the clout without the contract. And that's not how this business works." While some are relieved, others are a little nervous because, let's not pretend, only Kirk and Rasheeda are following the line. Since her major health scare, Spice has been flirting, and there are rumors that the show has been deceiving her. It's possible that fans who say she doesn't even need the show anymore are correct.
I'm in the studio with a big book in her hand, and she told me she wrote the song in the car. You know what I like? I don't see nobody in here. You're writing your own.
Despite the fact that Carly Red has been on the show since dial-up internet and is still going strong, many people now say that she is worn out and repeating drama.
And so I apologize for that part. What I'm not going to apologize for is how I feel. So I'm going to tell you
Okay,
how.
so let me tell you why you telling me how you feel. You up when you.
When this drama started, fans weren't merely taking sides. They were revealing the truth. So let's stop and take it to the streets. But let's not even talk about Miami because Trina has been absent for almost 2 seasons. And Pinky Doll, well, we don't even need to explain that one well. Some people are speculating that the entire franchise might be set up for a major upheaval, and Kirk and Rasheeda's dismissal might be the first thing to go. In spite of Kirk's adultery, deceit, and deception, Jasmine drama has been their only plot for 8 years, according to one user, while others are supporting Rasheeda. Why does Rasheeda have to go through this mess again every season when she already forgave him and moved on? Although it's unfair, exhausting, and traumatizing, many people agree that Mona and her team have exploited black pain, so this is really where the combination gets deep. For falsifying currency for over a decade. And when Rasheeda finally said, "I'm done," it appeared as if she had been forced to bring up ancient grievances for dramatic effect. She labeled Rasheed as tough without warning, and then someone else commented, I think they had already quit before being publicly announced as fired. Rasheeda is allegedly difficult to deal with because she is tired of dealing with that problem repeatedly.
When you've been married for going on 25 years and been in a relationship with somebody who you've lived your life with, you got things to think about before you throw everything away.
People are dragging Mona for saying that she is the only reason love and hip-hop succeeded when you have been criticizing her, as though she has forgotten the real origin story. The original concept was created by Jim Jones and Christie, who Mona took over and made into a franchise. Jim says they have never been given credit, money, or royalties for their work.
He was like, sure, let's do it. Let's come up with the whole synopsis and the premise and everything. That's what we did. We came up with the whole thing and the name and she was all done. That's how you got Love and Hip Hop.
According to some, Mona stole the ideas of hip-hop and love from Chrissy and Jim Jones when she sits up in her confessionals and recounts how she created this empire. Instead of paying them for their ideas, she improved someone else's and produced nothing of her own. It's enough that Mona once promised to feed the cast, as you may remember. As they dragged her for dirt, fans asked, "Is this a zoo? Are they your pets?" People are claiming that Kirk and Rasheeda think they are love and hip-hop, as if the show couldn't go on without them. This brings us to the topic of legacy, but I found this funny when someone said it. According to Kirk and Rasheeda, they are hip-hop lovers. Some fans are actually cheering them on if they attempt to break away and start something more sincere because people are sick of the entire dynamic. The reason this is a bar is that Kirk and Rasheeda survived, but were they changing or were they simply on repeat at this point? Since they are no longer there, fans believe that trauma is being recycled in an attempt to remain relevant, and it may be time for everyone, including Mona, to take a look in the mirror. Some people, however, are unaware that being elderly can sometimes make you an icon rather than your musical prowess. I'll also add fatigue, but now that they've dipped, the program has some gaps to shore up, and Mona's response is supposedly shifting gears fast, aiming to bring in newer, younger, messier cast members who feel TikTok cloud chasers are producing viral relationship turmoil with social media receipts. Whether people love them or detest them or simply watch to see if Rasheeda was finally going to leave Kirk, spoiler, she never did. She's also keeping a careful check on everyone, according to some insiders, and if you're not complying or playing the reality game her way, you're going to be dismissed. We're talking about NDA upgrades, storyline control, loyalty restrictions, the full nine. But the problem is that fans are growing wiser and aren't falling for the same rinse and repeat cheating cycles. They want new tea. The real issue today is what will happen to these two if Mona is unable to shift and present us with something fresh without taking advantage of tragedy. Otherwise, this franchise may start to produce dated rather than classic stuff. The new show is being pitched to streaming services and black-owned networks like Zeus and Bet Plus, as you may already be aware of or even own. Their ideal show would highlight their press, Frost Bistro, and their growth. Said they got off camera. Will that work? They might have some recognition, a loyal fan base, especially among people who are tired of watching Rasheeda suffer, and a legitimate marriage that is somehow surviving the chaos. If they spin this right, they might be able to change the plot and, for once, take charge of their own destiny. But since this story affected everyone's feelings, and I know you all have good points, I was able to hear from you. Was Mona's decision to fire Kirk and Rasheeda premature in your opinion, or was it incorrect? Will you watch Kirk and Rasheeda's next reality show if it airs? Honestly, is Love and Hip Hop becoming stale or still worth watching without its original messy couple? Post your ideas in the comments section below. Press the like button because this conversation isn't finished yet.